Okay, here's part 2 of the test review. Let's take a look at number 13. Write an equation for a line that is perpendicular to a line with a slope of 0 and goes through the point 2, 4. So the first clue here is perpendicular. Perpendicular means that, say you have a line that is going this way or something. I'm just making this up. Perpendicular would cross it and intersect, making right angles on all the corners, like a perfect plus sign or a cross. All right? So the way you get a perpendicular line to a given line is you have an opposite reciprocal for your slope. Okay, so if my slope was -1/2 on the original line, I would make it the reciprocal, meaning I flip it upside down. It becomes 2/1. And then I also change the sign to the opposite. So it would become, the perpendicular slope would be +2. Now this one is a special case. All right, the reason it's a special case is we have a slope of 0. There's 4 types of slopes: positive, negative, 0, and undefined, meaning there is no slope. This one has a slope of 0, so we're looking at, let's go ahead and make a y and x-axis. So if this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, they're telling me I have a slope of 0. They don't tell me anything else about the line except that it has a slope of 0. So this would be an example of the original line, and they want me to make a perpendicular line to this that also goes through the point 2, 4. Let's go ahead and sketch the point 2, 4. If this was my point 2, 4, what line would be perpendicular to the purple line and would also go through that point? A vertical line, which is the other special case. Remember, we have positive, negative, 0, and undefined slopes. Okay, so this is an undefined slope, which means when we taught this in class, this is the weird one. This is the only line equation. It's not a function. It's also not a y equals equation. It's not. It's an x equals equation. What value does x always have to be if it's going through this point 2, 4? It's going 2 to the right. This is always going 2 to the right. It's never going like this or this, right? It's always at the place x equals 2. And that's the equation of that line. I know there's a lot to that. I really encourage you to pause the video, rewind, study it, get into your calculator and mess with it, okay? So to make a horizontal line, it's basically y equals a number. Let's just say y equals 3. That gives me a line similar to my purple line. To make it perpendicular, has to be a vertical line. How would we type that in the calculator? You hit tab to open another slot, but it's not a y equals equation. So I hit the delete button, I go down to option 6, and I type in x equals. And what does it have to be to go through the point 2, 4? X equals 2. You hit enter, there's my line. If I hit the numbers of the buttons menu and then 2, 2, 3, I can turn on my grid boxes to verify it's going through. Oh, you know what? I think I did the wrong one. No, I didn't. It's right. It is going through the point 2, 4. Here's 2, 4, and my vertical line's going right through it. All right. So you're going to do on the next page, I just did number 13. You're going to do the same exact strategy on number 16 on your own, okay? It's another slope of 0, okay? But this time, the line is going to be parallel. So you look at that and figure out what that's going to do. Okay, remember, parallel line is going to have the same slope. Let's take a look at 14. Write an equation for a line that is perpendicular to a line with an undefined slope and goes through the point -2, 7. So here's another perpendicular, but this one is undefined. So it's kind of the opposite of what I just did. So here's my x and y axis. All right, let's make an undefined slope with our line. It's going to be vertical, just like we said. So I'm just making up a line. They want a line that's perpendicular to this, but that goes through point -2, 7. So -2 would be 2 to the left, and 7 up. It'd be somewhere over here, right? How do I make a line perpendicular to that? I need a line going like that. Okay, so again, our 4 types of slope are positive, negative, 0, and undefined. They give me an undefined this time. And I need a 0 slope in order to be perpendicular. So what would be the equation of this 0 slope line that's going through this point? Okay, well, y equals 0x. What's my y-intercept going to be? Well, right here, if I know I had to go up 7 to get to -2, 7, then I know it goes through the y-axis at 7 as well, because it's never getting higher or lower. So it's basically y equals 0x plus 7. You leave off the 0x because it goes away. My equation is y equals 7. So you're going to do 15, which is very similar to 14, except they want one that's parallel this time. So it's going to go the same direction. You're looking for something like, if I have an undefined slope, I need another line that is an undefined slope to be parallel. So my answer here is going to be x equals something. My answer on 16, to be parallel to a slope of 0, my slope of 0 is going to be y equals a number. The line that you need to make is going to be another horizontal line. So your answer is going to be y equals some number. All right, let's do 17 and 18 together. What is the slope of a line parallel to y equals -7/3 x plus 2? All right, so parallel lines have the same slope, but they have a different y-intercept. So basically, they have the same m number, but they have a different b number. All right, so when I look at this line, I want the m number, I don't want the b number. I can't reuse it. So I can just, basically, I just answered it. What's the slope of a line parallel? Well, it has to have the same slope, so my slope is going to be -7/3. Number 18, what is the slope of a line perpendicular to y equals 7/3 x plus 2? Same equation, but now perpendicular. Remember, perpendicular is opposite reciprocal, meaning you flip the fraction and you also change the sign. That's all you do. So what is the slope in this line? It's -7/3. We're going to flip it. Now it's -3/7, but we're also going to change the sign. +3/7. You do those 2 steps and you're good. Number 19, what is the slope of a line perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 4? It's the same thing as 18. You're going to flip it and change the sign. Now, how do you flip a 2? Well, remember, 2 is 2 over 1, so you're going to flip that and then change the sign. 20 is a continuation. That's the same as number 17. 21 says write an equation of a line in point slope form. Remember, point slope form is on your formula chart. You don't have to memorize it. You just, when you see these words, look at your formula chart, and it's on the kind of in the middle toward the bottom of the middle section. It's y minus y of 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x of 1. All right? So you go ahead and maybe even write that down just like I did above the problem or close to the problem. And they're giving you the information you need. It passes through this point and is perpendicular to this. So for point slope form, we need a point. Good, they gave us a point. We need a slope. They did not give us a slope. Well, they gave us a slope, but they want it perpendicular to that slope. So we're going to convert it. 2 is the same as 2 over 1. We need the opposite reciprocal, so we flip it to get the reciprocal, and we change the sign. So this is the slope we're going to use. So now I'm going to just plug in the numbers. For slope, I plug in -1/2. And then x minus, I plug in my x number of 2. And then over here, y minus, I plug in my number 1. That is an equation for that line. You could type this equation in the calculator as a relation with option 6, and you'll get the graph. Now, for number 22, they want us to convert this to slope-intercept form. So I'm going to rewrite it, my answer. I'm going to show you how to convert it by solving for y. Let's distribute this guy. -1/2 times x is -1/2 x. -1/2 times -2 is +1. Because negative and negative makes it positive when you multiply. 1/2 of 2 is 1. Let's rewrite this side. Let's add 1 to both sides. We have y equals -1/2 x plus 2. Now, I highly encourage you guys to get really good at driving your calculator, okay? I'm going to zoom out and show you that you can check your answer. Like, I went kind of fast. Who knows? Maybe I made a mistake, right? So let's check my answer. I'm going to type in the original in my graph screen. I need to go to the relation, so delete and go to 6. I'm going to type this in. Y minus 1 equal sign, and then control divide to put in my fraction. -1/2 parenthesis x minus 2. Let's push enter. That's my line. Now if I hit tab and I type in my answer, if I really did it right and didn't make a mistake, it's going to be the same line. Okay, hit enter. It's the same line. Guys, honestly, on a multiple choice test, if you get stuck on the math, type in the equation they give you, and if you're looking for an equivalent equation, type in your answer choices. The one that matches is probably the answer, unless they're asking for more details or something. That really is something you can do as a strategy. 25. Write an equation of a line in point slope form that passes through the point -1, 1 and is parallel to the graph of y equals 9/5 x, minus 1. So, parallel means same slope. So I'm using this slope. All right? And I'm using this point. So basically I have a point, I have a slope. You're going to plug that into point slope form just like you did on the previous one. So you can continue that one. We're almost done. We're going to do 26 and 28, and then I have somewhere I have to be before class starts. Number 26, we're not going to do that one because I want you to do that. And what I want you to do is convert it to slope-intercept, just like I showed you on the previous one. You can check it in the calculator. 29, what is the slope of a line that is parallel to the line graphed below? Well, parallel lines have the same slope. So find the slope of this line. Find your friendly points. There's a lot of them. Find your rise over run. I'm rising 1 and I'm running 3. I'm rising 1, I'm running 3. It's a positive direction. My slope is 1/3, so guess what? The slope of a parallel line is also 1/3. What is the slope of a line perpendicular to that? Well, you flip it and you change the sign. That would reduce to -3. All right, good luck. I'll be answering questions in class.